Previously.
1, 2, 3.
X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Where are we?
Damned if I know.
Well, damned if you're here, but you know what? Thanks for coming. Welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Please, no!
We didn't kidnap you. All right. I am your host.
Poetic, isn't it? The inevitability of my vision.
Poetic, isn't it?
It's poetic.
Yeah.
And villains always say that. Villains always talk about how poetic they're. It's always like, look how poetic. How that my victory.
I'm not a villain. I'm an artiste.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's always funny. It's always how poetic. Like it's coincidental. One of my favorite refs in that is The Simpsons with the cat burglar when he's like, it seems as though the cat was caught by the very person who was trying to catch him. It's just how ironic.
I am your host, Dare Skelville. And with me, of course, is, you know what, the best co-host a fella could ever have.
Did you just try to appeal to my humanity?
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
You're barking up the wrong tree.
And Sabandre Nur has no humanity for me to exploit.
Should I forget how he said it? I am something crash upon me.
I am the waves upon the rocks upon the eternal shore.
That's right.
Crash upon me and be broken.
That's me.
Yes.
I would love to do the voice for Apocalypse in the series.
Oh my god, me too.
That'd be amazing. Fuck you, can't be everybody. You want Wolverine? Give me Wolverine.
Well, Cal Todd's doing Wolverine.
I think I'd be a better Wolverine.
We had an opening for Apocalypse because John Colicos died, but
well, I guess there is a voice because it was heard in this episode. So
yeah, and pretty good.
Oh yeah, he's listed on IMDb actually.
Yeah. There he is. Spoiler alert. But yeah. All right. Well,
the actor is on a lot of voice work. He's in the Blood Diamond, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I think he's African or something because he's in a lot of stuff that kind of takes place in that area.
Makes sense.
All right, here we are. We come to the end of our journey, my friend. How do you feel? How's it feeling?
It was a little short. I could have journeyed for a bit longer myself, but
well, thankfully the second season is only like a year away, or less than a year away, isn't it? It's in the fall.
I don't know. I've heard it's going to be before the end of this year, and I've also heard it's going to be before winter next year. So, I don't know.
So like the fall of next year.
Yeah.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck.
I guess you can always watch this again. It's pretty great. I'm happy to watch it again.
Well, I've watched it again.
Oh yeah, I've watched every episode a couple times, but I could probably watch the whole series again. It's so good.
Oh, Daniel's here. Can we have a vote on who would be an appropriate Apocalypse, Davin or Andre?
Oh, I think I'd be better at that.
Personality-wise or voice-wise? I mean, physicality-wise, you have to give it to Andre. I mean,
I think I'm all three if those are the three metrics.
Yeah, you're more. Well, are you more survival of the fittest than me?
I'm more nihilistic, and I certainly have a deeper voice. So I think I would be better for all three parts of it.
He's not nihilistic. He's hopeful. He's not Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos wasn't nihilistic either. He was hopeful. He wanted a hopeful universe. Man, okay, you're the one who's always talking about the comic version over the movie version. So yes, the original Thanos is very hopeful. He did it all for love. How can you not be more hopeful than that?
He was also obsessed with death.
Because he loved it. He loved the physical embodiment of death. It wasn't the concept of death. It was the actual.
I think that too.
Physical form of death. He was
it was more that. I agree.
It was sort of a shapely skeleton.
And he says Andre got the theater background. You know what? Everyone's on Team Andre for this Apocalypse thing. That's fine. I probably am too.
Davin, you'd be good. We'll bring back what's his face. You could be him, Fabian Cortez.
I played Bobby. What you think they doing up there?
No, what are you doing up there?
It Bobby.
That's
Bobby. What I play.
Yeah. Well, he's deep in grief right now. Well, Bobby.
Poor Bobby.
He's had a rough go.
Yeah.
First he lost the Tad,
He did lose the tie to the assassins. Oh, Bobby, I don't want to play him. He's a bit of a calamity. But yeah, good job playing Apocalypse. You know what? I'd rather you do it than The Rock, which is the rumors right now.
I mean, the internet is full of those sort of rumors.
Like,
all it took is one person to post it somewhere, and then it's like it becomes a thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean that. No. Yeah, I mean, the comic version of Thanos is superior in my opinion, but I do like the movie version quite a bit.
The comic version of most things is kind of superior, except in Iron Man's case.
Thanks, Dan.
Oh, look, everyone's on Team Andre. Fine, Andre plays Apocalypse. It's settled.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Marvel, did you hear that?
I would. Yeah, please, Marvel. Come cast a nobody from Nova Scotia, Canada that you've never heard or seen in anything before to play the big villain in one of your major benchmark series.
I'll just be one of your friggin' Morlock horsemen.
That'd be awesome. I would love that. I would like it just because if it did happen, then we could just hang out on set all day. That would be a blast.
That'd be fun.
I do love acting, so that'd be a blast. But there's a lot of time when you're not acting when you're on a set, so it'd be nice to have all that time to fill with friends and just hang out and do stuff.
Yeah,
watch X-Men cartoons, do podcasts.
This podcast from the set.
Yeah, from the set, talking about all the shit we're not supposed to talk about.
Here we are. Oh, did you guys see that scene just get filmed? That was awesome.
Today we filmed this crazy scene where fucking Cassandra Nova shows up. It's a big surprise. You're gonna be really shocked, folks.
Yeah.
Morlock
Horseman is great. Thanks, Dan.
Totally. Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh yeah, Hanif, don't forget Assembled making of the X-Men 97 drops tomorrow on Disney Plus. We're gonna watch that for our season review.
Do we know what next episode is? Oh, that is next week. Okay.
Or the week after. I guess I still
have a potential. You have a potential thing, right? Change.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, we'll see. So,
there'll still be an episode next week, right?
Yeah, we have an episode.
Okay. Next week. I just wasn't sure if
you meant something else.
I see. I just thought because I knew that, but I wasn't sure if you meant that maybe you weren't something was coming up and it wouldn't be happening.
No. I'm always here for the X-Goons.
No, yeah, but you gotta live your life too, buddy. The X-Goons can wait a week
late.
or two.
That's why we start late all the time.
For once, it's not my fault. I'll happily take that.
That's true. But remember,
I actually busted my ass and got here back by 9 o'clock.
Never forget.
That's right. Except when they undo all of the most tragic deaths this past season, next season.
There will be stakes. They will be traumatized by what Apocalypse has done to them.
Yeah.
And he can't bring all of them back. Like, maybe 4 at the most he'll bring back. Everyone else is still gone. I don't think they'll timey-wimey fix it all.
Nobody cared about any of the other ones.
They might.
What are the 4 going to be? Like, it's going to be Banshee and, like, Gambit and, like, all the ones that nobody... the show would be worse. Oh, and probably Sebastian Shaw and then, like, somebody else.
They have killed in that big battle there. They did kill
Dazzler
more than 4 people of consequence. So, like, some cool people will still have to stay.
Marrow?
Marrow's cool.
Madeline
but
Pryor,
Marrow, Banshee...
Madeline Pryor, I guess, would be cool.
Moira.
Yeah. Nobody cares about Madeline Pryor would be cool, but she was vaporized, so I don't know what Maddie would bring back.
Yeah, but so was Banshee. So Banshee ain't coming back if being vaporized
and so was Marrow.
Happening.
Shaw, yeah. We saw Shaw's body. I guess if you wanted to do the whole Morlock thing, you could bring back Kalisto, I suppose.
I kind of wanted to see Horseman Banshee though, because then he becomes this like zombie thing after he's brought back from being a horseman.
Yeah,
so he's
who
just
knows?
Like zombie Banshee, and that was kind of a cool character too. But Sam's here. What's up, Sam? Yeah, Sean vaporized for sure. See. Oh, Ryan thinks Maddie comes back as the Phoenix. That would be interesting.
Considering we just got a sort of return to that too. Anyway, let's get into the episode, I suppose.
Let's get into the episode.
All right, let's do this.
All right, before we do.
Previously on X-Men.
Okay, what do we got here?
No! Magnus! For the love of God, don't do this!
I wish you would just play the previously in X-Men that it actually plays in the episode. because that gives you way more context than whatever it is than the last minute of the previous episode.
I like my way.
Sure. I love that it's not even really an argument. You're just like, I disagree. And that's it. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it works.
It's
a conversation piece. Usually the conversation is, why are you playing this irrelevant clip again?
Exactly. Especially in the regular show when like the episodes didn't cross over, so whatever happened in the previous episode had nothing to do with this one, and then it's like,
but
Juggernaut walking off into the distance, which has nothing to do with whatever's going on in the new one. Like,
that was awesome though. But that was hardly irrelevant. That was Wolverine getting the.
That was somewhat relevant. Yeah. All right, so we get the intro to the show, which has some additional scenes, which I'm not quite sure which ones are from the last episode, which from this one. But we see Eric and Charles back when they were friends together, fighting off soldiers and stuff. We see the Phoenix freaking out, which is a more Phoenix stuff where she's like coming right at the camera. We see Charles listening in on the Hellfire Club, which I think might have been in the last episode. We see a bigger shot of Asteroid M, which of course plays into this one. Mm-hmm. So I think those are most of the new scenes, but it's hard to keep track of them all, so keep adding them.
MZ says Caldon said he recorded a 45-second scream. I'm surprised they didn't use it.
The 45-second line. That'd be amazing.
Can he hold his breath and scream that long? That's amazing.
Shattering your eardrums.
Good job, Caldon.
Yeah. Well, we get a flashback to. So I'm guessing we've retconned that Charles and Xavier Magneto's. I guess it would be because when they hung out, they don't really explain what war this was in, right? So they said it was going on.
They were both like relief workers for like the UN or something. So or like they were like some aid agency, like. So it could be any conflict, basically anywhere. It doesn't even have to be a large-scale war. It just could have been like a regional conflict or anything, really.
Yeah, it could have been. We also see that Charles is drinking a beer, and Magneto's drinking a whiskey. So Magneto obviously has a better taste in alcohol.
Well, I love both of those things, but
yeah, but whiskey is a much more refined drink than beer is a commoner man's drink.
The thinking man's beer.
Yes, that's right. But anyway, there's a debate going on between Charles and Eric in the past about the existence of mutants, to which they both reveal to one another that they have mutant abilities, which is fun. It's a nice little.
I like what he says there. He's just like, "Yes, I read minds. Probably control them too. Not that I would know."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like, well, then how do you know? Probably, yeah. Old Xavier up to his old tricks.
Well, it's funny because it even sort of parallels their opinions of the world decades later. When like it starts by Magneto saying, "God, you're suicidal or sentimental. Maybe they'll either will kill you."
Yeah.
So and and all the stuff where Professor X says, "What if I were a mutant?" and Magneto says, "Run and hide before someone starts dreaming of camps," and then he tells them basically telepathically.
The line I like there too, he was just like, "No, but people, humans may want to be better, and we can all be better and better. The better world." He's like, "Humans don't want to be better; they're already the best at everything." Like, he's like, they even fight over who's the best victim.
Yeah,
like
that's true. That's very true. They certainly have it tapped on the finger on the pulse of humanity. Professor X has they have a great line where Magneto, like Professor X says, telepathy, mind reader, likely can control them too, and bend their will. And then Magneto says, "Metal, it bends to my will." And then Professor X says, "Have you met others? I've met several, many alone, scared, and they will be feared." And Magneto says, "Hated." So like this word's filling in. Yeah. And Professor X says, "Not if we guide them, help them cherish their gifts, help the world see all that we share to being different." And then Magneto has a great line where he says, "Alas, my friend, in my experience, minds are far harder to bend than metal."
Yeah, that is a great line. God, this is so well written. Bo DeMaio, man.
I feel like we'll see him.
Fine writer.
I feel like we'll see him back. I don't know. Popularity of this thing.
When my village used reason while others used tanks.
Then forgive me, Magnus.
Oh wait, that's later. My bad.
Much later.
That's the most David Hemblin he ever went. That Magneto actor, like when he says tanks. Go back into like TAS Season 1 and listen to when Magneto says, when they use tanks. He nails it. That's a David Hemblen tanks.
Well, this is where, as this conversation grows on, we see an ocean rising outside the window, and we realize this conversation is all happening within their mind. Where Magneto says, this is a violation, you're in my head. You know, Xavier says, you declared war against mankind, turned the X-Men against each other, allowed all this torment to fester. And, you know, he says, I don't want to do this, but I will wipe your mind. And then he says to do that would probably wipe out yourself as well. It's like psychic penetration would risk, you know, wipe both minds or shatter both minds. And then,
sounds like Onslaught, doesn't it?
A little bit. But we don't really get that at the end of this, right?
No, I didn't think we would. But it's like, they keep teasing it so much.
I know, but like I would have liked it instead. I mean, it seems like the next. I mean, spoiler alert! Everybody's listening to this, definitely watch this. It seems like the next season is all Apocalypse. So, like, based on what they're giving you,
also all timey-wimey. Like, season 2 will end, and we will be like right where season 1 ended, chronologically.
Oh, probably,
so like,
but I mean,
so that it will still have just created Onslaught, but we won't know about it until all.
Wasn't Onslaught's body like, was Onslaught its own physical manifestation, or was it like its body from something?
No, it's its own physical manifestation from both their psyches.
Okay. So yeah, I guess we could
like
still
Hulk
get that
punched
from this.
it into like physical form. It didn't even really like
that's
have
such
a physical form.
Do you just hear that sentence he said? And this is what
Hulk can punch really hard, Andre.
He can
really
manifest physical objects through his punching.
It's like the shoveler from Mystery Men. I punch well. I punch very well.
Yes. So we see the ramifications of what's going on from Asteroid M, the psychic battle, kind of reigniting all of the power, because during the fight, when they're fighting telepathically, yeah, I think Kenny's right. I think they will hint him throw 2, and then we'll see him at the end of 3.
People will start acting weird and like more dark and aggressive, and people are like, why is this guy such a dick? And it's because Onslaught's just messing with everybody. Yeah,
but we see the power coming as the psychic battle happens. Professor X uses Magneto's mind to reinstall the power across the Earth. So we see some great cameo shots here. Do you want to save these for special moments, or just talk about them? Might as well just talk about them.
Yeah, let's just talk about them.
We see Silver Samurai. We see Iron Man and Captain America hanging out with President Kelly.
Yeah.
We see Daredevil, which is really fun in action.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah, he looks really good in this. I love the coloring. Like,
oh yeah, so
it reminds me. Do you remember when we were kids? There was a Spider-Man comic strip in the newspapers.
Yeah.
And on Saturdays,
it was written by Stan Lee's brother.
It was written by Stan Lee, and it was drawn by Stan Lee's brother.
Okay. You sure?
Pretty sure. Larry Lieber did the art.
I thought Larry Lieber did the writing on it.
Stan Lee wrote it.
Okay.
They used to recreate put a bunch of them out in these hardcover volumes when they stopped printing them. I have like the first 5 before they stopped printing them. But I was hoping they'd do the whole series, but they never finished it, sadly. And now I'm afraid to go look online to see if it's still going on, because I'll have to buy them. But they were these beautiful like hardcover editions. I should have used one of those as my comic suggestion. But
Cloak and Dagger we see.
Yes, we see Cloak and Dagger. Hold on here, I'll bring it back up.
And this, of course, cameo, which has consequences.
That's later. That's later. That's much later.
Yeah, true.
But we see Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see Doctor Strange, who's working. He's using magic to work to do surgery when the power comes back, by candlelight when the power comes back on. We see Val. Then we cut back to Val Cooper, who is still under the control of Bastion, who is going off on a whole melodramatic speech about the Dreamer, all that sort of stuff.
I have that.
Built to die. Do you have that? Talk about nihilistic. This guy is the king of nihilism.
Well, look, he's got some issues there, I think. I had that Dreamer one. Did I not load it up? Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Dreamer. Let's do it. I do have that.
A dream as crippled as its dreamer, built to die.
Yeah, which is rough, actually.
Stillborns flapping upstream, draining yourselves dry so that the tide can more easily drown you.
Not only is Bodemeyer's writing amazing, but man, is Bastion cool. Bastion is such a cool villain.
Very
I hope
well
we see
voice,
more
very
Bastion.
well voice acted.
So good.
So the Spider-Man news
And like,
strip-
what does he say? Like, it almost makes his like thing more. Oh, about humanity,
Yeah, his whole thing is
about people. Like, he's like,
People are good. Too damn good.
it's like most
Yeah,
villains
well-
would say the opposite. People suck, so I'm gonna take over and make things better. And like,
well, it's actually very interesting how they approach this, especially because of the methodology they're trying to use for his reasoning to be a villain, but also why he did what he did. Like he said, he had to make people apathetic by showing them so much horror against mutants that eventually they stopped caring. But that's because people do inherently care, and he has to bombard them to make them stop. Which actually, this episode does give me the sliver of hope that I was hoping for. So it's here.
Yeah.
It did stick the landing.
Bastion's your sliver of hope.
Well, in the idea that like, but even the X-Men take a hopeful path to try to solve the situation, which wasn't going to work out that way. But at least they tried. So there's that. Although I would argue if you're in a serious conflict, that perhaps this character is the one that shouldn't be given a redemption arc. But they try. So that's
We'll
nice.
see. Little Bastion there.
So we see Bastion has managed to capture all the X-Men using his control over Cable. He smashed the collar they tried to put on his head. Got him. Beast tries to reason with him, but he like attacks him. And someone's reading the comment.
Hey?
I was reading the comment.
Oh. Yeah, well, there's both sides to that. His argument is an interesting argument. It's an interesting way to go for a villain, and not how I would think they would go for Bastion.
But there's a great moment too in this. Like, I guess Bastion's supposed to kind of. I'm assuming he's supposed to. I mean, I don't know what Bodemeyer's. You have to have him on the show to ask him. But his logic is very. And maybe this. Once again, I'm just talking my ass here. But the idea that like. What he says to Storm here, he says, like, do you think I like being programmed to do all this?
I like what she says. Yeah. I have that here, yeah. Well, it's not right here. I think she says that later, doesn't she? But, I thought I had it. I might not have loaded that one up. Keep talking. I had to go back and check that, too.
Well, it's kind of related to what he says here.
Yeah.
This is where he says that you just tried to appeal to my humanity and all that.
Okay. What's this one?
And then he says, I'm gonna have to, because of your guys' interference, I'm gonna have to skip to my final phase. And then I like the line that Ford says. He goes, "What, genocide and slavery isn't enough?"
Yeah. Well, I could see, like, she's just like, he's like, I didn't ask to be born. She's like, no one is. That's why we can't begrudge them for being.
Yes, but he also says, do you think that I liked being given this programming? Like, and that, but it kind of speaks to like anyone who's intolerant of other race, like I'd say racist specifically, but anybody that's intolerant of others or gay people or whatever, because they were raised that way. They were programmed that way by their parents. Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of a nod to that. Like the idea that it's like, I don't necessarily want.
None choose to be born, Bastion. That's why we must never begrudge them being.
Great stuff from friend of the show, Alison Seeley Smith. She's just
100%
on point on this show.
So basically, Bastion's saying he's going to be protecting humanity from itself because humanity's too good to. So he's sending all of the. This is where we kind of see the dark side of the fascist utopia that he's built in the future.
Humanity's too good to save itself from mutants. Taking over in their place, which is like interesting commentary. So
we see the Sentinels coming into the president and attacking him. We're coming in to take control of him. We see them coming to take control of Wakanda. We see Black Panther staring them down across from the barricade with the
T'Chaka.
No, the name of his guard. There's a name for them. I never even remember it.
The Dora Milaje.
The Dora Milaje, that's it. So we see them trying to bust their way in, but we see him attacking them. We see Daredevil and Cloak and Dagger getting in a fight with defending them people in the street. We also see the Russians defending themselves with a Mega Red. Yeah. What's his name? The Red Guardian. That's his name. The robot guy. Yep. And
the robot guy. I forget. He's one of the
It's Red Guardian, isn't it?
With Dark Star and all that part of that.
Yeah, and Dark
Red
Star
Guard or whatever they were called.
Yeah, but wasn't he Red Guardian, or am I wrong about that?
Red Guardian's one of them, but I don't know. Crimson Dynamo. Yeah, thanks, MZ.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you, MZ. That's it. That's 100% it.
Yeah.
So then, we see that action going on, but then we also see fucking North Star and Psylocke and
man, I loved that. Psylocke's just hanging out with Alpha Flight. I was like, I love this. I want that story. Why Psylocke's hanging out with Alpha Flight?
Who's the black girl with Alpha Flight with the yellow headband?
Oh, I'd have to go check.
There's a girl sitting there amongst them. I don't know who she is.
Oh, it's probably just Talisman. She'd be like native, not black.
No, she looks black.
Oh yeah, well I don't know. I have to find that image.
But it's she's standing. She has a yellow headband. She kind of looks like the girl that was from. Oh no, I don't think it's supposed to be her.
Did you have
Definitely
the image?
Not supposed to be her. Well, I'm just watching it on Disney Plus as I'm skimming through. So I could take a screenshot, I guess. But if you look up Alpha Flight on the X-Men 97.
Okay, there it is. Okay, I see. Oh, that's Dr. Celia Reyes, I'm pretty sure.
And who's that?
Oh, she's a mutant. She hangs out with the X-Men. Hey, she's
why is she hanging out with Alpha Flight?
I don't know. Why is Psylocke hanging out with Alpha Flight? It makes no sense. I want that story.
Because we want to see Psylocke again. That's why. You have to go back. We have to see her. She's there. I know it doesn't make any sense.
I'm more of an Alpha Flight fan than I am a
Psylocke me too.
fan, to be honest. Though you know what, I like Betsy. I like Betsy Braddock when she's not doing the Psylocke thing. I kind of like this whole Captain Britain Betsy thing, and yeah, I do like Betsy Braddock as a character. I have that image now. I'm gonna bring it up, but yeah, I would bet almost certainly Dr. Celia Reyes.
We have a great moment here where Bastion has control over everyone, and he's ready to kill Cable, basically, and then
that is great.
Sinister's maligning, saying that he was promised that he'd get to keep Cable because it was part of his whole genetic, this whole experiment that he's working towards.
Celia Reyes.
Yeah. Okay. But then Cable says, like, you don't know, you must not realize that who my mom really is or what she really is. Because this is him accepting Jean as his mother, which is nice. Or somewhat, I mean, and Madeline truly is his mother, but yeah. I mean, Jean's as close as you're going to get.
It was nice.
And then she busts, because she fell in the water during the fight. She busts
I love this line, though. This line, like, where, like, Cable won't talk, so Bastion's like, Sinister, make your puppy talk or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he does. He's just like,
how many times?
200. 200 times. But how's your mommy, Sebastian?
But how's your mommy, Sebastian? He's so funny.
Yeah, he asked how many times that he went back in time to try to stop it.
Yeah, that's a lot of times.
And he says, your mom's not coming back, after that. He says, not a phoenix, just dead. He says, and then... And he says, just dead like you. But then we see the Sentinels come in. I don't know why he brought some of his own Sentinels in to kill Cable. Like, he could have just done it himself. Like, a bunch of Sentinels laying behind him and put power-up guns behind his head. Where Sinister's like, you promised you give him money as a prize, and Bastion's example must be made. Cable will stop at nothing to undo the true future. But then he says he's as blind as his deadbeat dad, which I think is a great line, too.
It was a great line. This is a great episode.
Yeah, it is a really good episode. So we see the collar that they made reassemble on the ground.
Yeah.
That Bastion's
oh wait, I got this. Wait.
I am Phoenix.
Sounds like the Sailor Moon sound effect. Bling.
Well, look, there's a lot of anime vibes in this episode, so. Like, the most anime part of this whole show was this, when it's just those two staring at each other going, ah, for like 30 seconds. It was just like definitely like watching an anime.
And then as Cable sees the ground, as like things start shaking, and Cable sees the collar reform or the headband, he says, "Maybe you two should pay attention to what Time is saying about my mom." And then she comes with a
100% HRDA chief. Storm's laugh was everything. Her laugh of joy.
Yeah, she's joyful to see her come back. We see her kind of come back at the Phoenix Force sort of surrounding her, and then her use the abilities to. She says something about them becoming slaves to hate and all this other stuff, and using her abilities to capture Bastion and put the band on his head.
Yeah, she's like how the Phoenix burns away like all the dead.
Yeah, and we see all the Sentinel, the infected Sentinel humans deactivate and fall down after they dissociate his consciousness from his control over each of them, including the Sentinels depower. All the X-Men get freed from being controlled by them. And Sinister tries to use his power, hold over Cable to have Cable defend him against.
Switching aliases mid-show, Hanif. Very mysterious.
And then Sinister, she pulls Sinister towards him and he talks a lot of shit. He talks about how he uses all this mutant DNA and stuff to hold his body together over time, and she's going to burn it all away. So she does, making him into this weird, fat, bald little kind of impish looking creature thing. It also breaks the hold he has over Cable.
Well, it's like probably she says it's his true form, but it's like he's like hundreds of years old. So it's
he's all skinny and mottled, and like he looks old and stuff. Which is kind of like,
show me my face. Looks the same to me.
Morph such a dick. I love it.
But it's also like yeah, I do really like. It's a great moment for the show, but it's kind of like if you've been fucked up and you just go up to the shapeshifter, show me what my face looks like.
Who you've previously tortured at it.
He's more worried about that than he is about like just getting out of there.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's so funny because they're like poetically they burn it away and make him like kind of a husk of himself, but then they just let him run off. Like he's just gonna go fix himself again and then come back. Like they should just imprison him or kill him or something. But it's a nice moment. So we see
Sinister was duct taped with mutant DNA. True, he's not a mutant.
Yeah, 100%.
He duct taped himself with it all. Yeah. So she pulled the duct tape off.
So Jean says the Phoenix Force has left her again, but she could feel it deep inside pulling her back to protect her son. So and he smiles back at her. It's a nice moment. We get some of this family business. But not enough, I guess, because Bastion still had enough power to take on his final form. It's funny, much like I guarantee you, Bodemaya was a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, because this episode gave me a lot of Dragon Ball Z vibes.
That's what I'm saying,
including final form. like when someone keeps elevating up until he reaches his final form.
I thought he was gonna become this, like the straight up Nimrod.
I liked what he did become, though. He kind of like.
I did too. It was a cool design. Yeah.
But he pulls off. He comes back and pulls off Cable's arm, like his metal arm.
Yep.
Which is a pretty cool little scene. And then he takes on his full form, and he beats like Cable with his own arm too. And he takes on his full form, which is like the. Kind of looks like a vampire a little bit, but he's almost like Angel. He's like this,
and a bit Nimrod. It's like
a bit Nimrod too. He's got the big V. That's the pink V and all that. Yeah. He says he'll tear that rock from the heavens, hurl it to Earth, granting humans the same mercy that they gave his clone mother, Extinction. And he flies off to space. The Cable's pretty hurt, basically in death's door. Oh. We see them trying to get back to Earth. So they got Magneto bandaged up in a coma beside Charles, who's also in a coma. They're all comaed out.
Wolverine's in a coma. Everyone's in a coma.
Yeah, I remember you were like, next episode will be Wolverine's big whatever. And I was like, no, next episode.
I thought they might do it.
No, they're just the next
they
episode.
They didn't have time.
Bringing them back there. Of course they don't. Yeah. And although I'm guessing by the end of this, he's still in the present. We'll see. But anyway, we.
Oh, that's an interesting theory by MZ. Bastion stole Cable's time travel by ripping off his arm.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of, I mean, honestly, you can make up any reason you want as to why these things go the way they do, but until they tell you on the show, it's not. It's just none of it's sure, which is fine. But yeah, that's right.
Rip off my arm, fine. Don't beat me with my own arm. I'd rather die, says an Eve. That's very funny. All right. So yeah, where are we at? Look at the storm image. Isn't that great?
Well, in their mind past thing, Charles and Magneto keep trying to connect. Magneto forgets a lot about him, and Charles is trying to help him get back his memories of his life before. And then eventually, well, there's some stuff in between, but that's basically what starts here. And then we see them. He tells Magneto to, Wolverine's like on death's door essentially, and Cyclops tells him to do the best of what he does, which is heal. So
good,
but he's all fucked up. But then we see her get a message from Jean saying that Bastion is en route, basically. The scramble worked, but Bastion's coming to mess them up. But Cyclops knows that he hurt Cable. But then they both get a message from Charles from his astral plane thing, where he said he's trying to help put Magnus's psyche back together after the psychic attack. But the stakes are getting set up here essentially, which is Then they're basically waiting for Bastion to come. They're standing there watching him as they come towards the station. This is a big pink like meteor heading right towards them. So they're trying to figure out how to stop, and then there's a big throwdown fight between Bastion and the X-Men, which is pretty nice.
Sunspot there. My name is Sunspot.
Yeah. And Rogue gets a lot of moments to really fuck him up too, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
They fight like on the moon, sir, on the surface of the.
Oh yeah.
Are they on the moon, or is this or all in the asteroid? It must all be in the asteroid. Yeah. Okay. So this is something I didn't pick up the first. Oh no, they're on the moon.
No, they go to the blue area of the moon.
Yeah, because there's like an apocalypse temple on the moon that they fight into. It looks like an apocalypse temple based on the face that's on the wall that's carved into the side of it. But you see her notice it for a second during the fight and kind of realize that something else is work here. But she's kind of stuck with fighting Bastion. It's a great fight. It's a big elaborate fight, but it's kind of saved by Sunspot.
Yeah,
and it looks really cool actually. I like all the Kirby crackle around him.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
He's got one of the coolest designs. I always love that design. That's why I was like so bummed at so many episodes where he's just, I'm not going to go into Sunspot. That's why they did it. It's like, save it for the end. It's so awesome. But, yeah. But yeah, they're all ready to, look at that. Look at that team.
Well, they have bigger issues too, because basically Kelly decides he's given options by saying, well, the mutants were pushed. Look what happened. Look what they did to them. Blah, 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 and the next one are trying to help, but then blah, blah, blah. So then Kelly decides to send fucking nukes once again to Asteroid M and fuck them up. Yeah, that is a nice line too, which I forgot to say, James. Thanks, Jameson. Yeah. Where Scott tells Wolverine, don't break her heart, which means like he knows that she'll be heartbroken if Wolverine dies. So we see...
Yes, fair point, Jamil. They told their story in 10 episodes.
Sure did. So T'Chaka's, governing for peace, and so is Captain America. Everybody doesn't want him to send the nukes, but he makes the decision to send them to Asteroid M again. So it's like, once again, it's like this humanity's always making the wrong choice. I mean, I guess given what they're fading with, but anyway, Charles tries to reach to Magneto and kind of discovers some of the insight as to why Magneto is so hard is because everyone he loves basically leaves him, including Rogue, which is something that he was very upset about but wouldn't let himself reveal, I guess. And Charles kind of gives him the whole speech about the chosen family over that he's there for him, that he always should be there for him. And a nice moment where they kind of helps him put himself back together.
Yep.
And like his parents were taken, and all these things that made him into the man he was, basically. So it's a great amount of fight there. Then we get some even great fighter action with Bastion and Nightcrawler and Bastion and Jubilee. Remember, do you have the line where he says when Jubilee's fighting with her powers?
No.
Oh, that's a great line.
Luckily, this ain't our first
Whoops.
time.
Wrong one.
Oh, that's way later.
Yeah, that's way later. No, I don't have that.
Oh, he says, "What are you gonna do to slay me with the 4th of July?" She's got all those fireworks battles.
Yeah.
And Cyclops goes toe to toe with him, but can't quite take him out because he's too fast. But then he's that's when Jubilee kind of makes a stand against him and crush him beneath parts of the. You see him getting more and more fucked up throughout the fight, like his eyes, all like one eye is like a cybernetic one and one's human, but then the human one starts getting more just the eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. It gets pretty gruesome and a bit like a horror kind of design.
I love the horror aspects of this.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
They do horror well on this show.
Yeah, he has so many good lines. He says, "Call yourself a team. You call yourself a family." So you only work together long enough so to die alone. Like it's just it's so good. He says, "Behold my family," and it's a sentinel. But then the sentinel crushes him when it comes in through the roof, steps right on him, and turns out to be being controlled from Beast and Morph and Storm and Jean Grey inside of him, which is really funny. And because he makes a joke when Beast has a great line here where he says, "The Greeks do love their Trojan horses," and irony. Yeah.
That was a great line. I should have got
Yeah, it's a really good one. And irony.
And irony.
So he says, "Forge is tending to Nathan. He'll be all right," is what Storm tells him. But then Bastion busts his way out of from underneath the Sentinel foot. But then this is where the bit of hope I wanted was. Yeah, Jubilee did fuck him up really good, which is good. But then this is where Cyclops says, "Professor came to you to be one of us, and you could have been. There's still
Sorry,
hope."
Jamil.
Yeah, I know. He says, like, he says, your parents were too scared. That's why they wouldn't let you go with them. But your parents were human too, and this is kind of sinking home the whole storyline about Scott feeling about his own being a dad and stuff. Where he says
And his own father.
Yeah. He says, parents are humans too. They mess up. He says, you have a future to have it crushed down in you and all this expectation and all this sort of stuff. But he does reach out to him and try to actually like turn him to their side.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of hope that we're hoping to get here. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it was Storm who keeps reiterating, "You could have been one of the first X-Men."
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't a mutant.
Yeah, he was. He's a technopath.
Yeah, but it's because he's inhabited by like Nimrod or whatever.
So then they recognize the Magneto protocols, basically, because all the missiles are heading in, and they start blowing up the asteroid. And the mutants, all like the X-Men and everyone, start trying to get out of there. Jean Grey puts a bubble around them, and they hit the core of the asteroid, which makes it all basically start to explode. We see Bastion try to escape, but basically get incinerated on his way out. They try to save him, actually, but he refuses. Which is the standard villain thing. They're always like, there's always some big explosion or some big wave. They're like, "Just take my hand. Like, we'll save you." And then he's like, "No,
never.
He'd rather die than accept the help from them." And it's funny because they say, "Bastion, come with us," or "Take my hand," and he just goes like that, which I like. Like he found kind of like wasn't even a comment. He just like kind of half laughs at it. But he tries to fly away, and then you see him get incinerated amongst the whole asteroid get blown up, and start crashing towards the Earth. Which is a big moment. We see they're trying to make it to an escape pod. They're hovering. We see like Jean Grey Jubilee and Sunspot kind of reconcile.
Mm-hmm.
We see them
catches her from falling at some point.
Well, they're trying to figure out how to restore the orbit of the asteroid. And Beast has an unconventional idea. He says you might just be able to restore, save humanity from, a dinosaur's fate, which is nicer. Although I think, So we see them talking to Forge through the speaker, and he's trying to help them, but he thinks it'll fry the jet. We see Cable kind of hanging out, but he gets a psychic image of Jean and Scott telling them they're proud of him because they think they might not make it to Earth. No, they're all sucked. Jean Grey put a bubble around them all, which is why they're okay for now. But Cyclops says, has a nice moment with them where they don't think they're coming back. And he says how in the future, everyone talks about how the X-Men were these heroes, and it pissed him off. He never got a chance to be a hero with them. Because, there's all this great character stuff here. It's super beautiful.
This is a super loaded episode.
Yeah. Well, it's the end of the series.
It's quite long as well. It's like over 40 minutes, I think.
It's the end of the season. It's got to be.
Yeah.
But we see Jean show. She says that Jean always said you had my eyes, and then she shows him what his eyes look like without the ability, so he can see. And she says they're good eyes. They're yours now, and they love him and all that, and they disappear. So we see everyone on Earth seeing what happened, and the flotsam and jetsam of all of this with we see them, various people watching on TV, including Peter and Mary Jane, in their classic costumes from the original series. Mm-hmm. Also behind them is Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Wonder who else we got in the background there.
I don't know if anybody else is the girl with the green hat and the little yellow lightning bolt.
Kind of looks familiar, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Flash Thompson there with his football bag, of course. The world's going to shit. He's still going to football practice. Good old Flash Thompson.
But we see Beast trying to work. Yeah, exactly. We see Beast trying to get the orbit going. We see Wolverine basically still hooked up to all the machines. We see Morph take the form of Jean because they can't get Jean there to say goodbye to him, to say she loves him, which is an interesting little nod. Either that Morph loves Wolverine as a friend, that Morph loves Wolverine as more than a friend.
Well, Bo DeMaio has commented on that.
What did he say?
We'll get to that in the X points.
Okay. So we see Jubilee, Sunspot, and they do go back to Earth. So Sunspot's abilities must allow them to fly somehow, because they were in space and they got back to Earth.
Yeah, there's a few questions. There's a few points where I was wondering about how everyone's surviving in space.
Well. So we see Magnus and Charles eventually come back to terms, and he remembers who he is, and they rebuild the psyche, and they so that he awakens on the asteroid, and starts using his ability to stop it from crashing into the Earth, and then everybody cheers because the Earth's not going to be destroyed from the asteroid hitting it. But Magneto once again saves humanity. You just tried to kill him again by sending the Magneto protocols for sending all the rockets. I love how they're like, we got to stop the guy that can control metal. Let's send metal rockets after him.
They never learn. I mean, they built plastic sentinels, but other than that, they never learn.
So he starts to take it back into space, but then it teleports away. There's this big kind of, it looks like an explosion, which I'm sure is what the Earth thinks it is, but it seems to teleport out of existence somehow. There's this big purple thing that takes the asteroid away. And Jubilee watches from Earth, and Forge watches, and they think they're all dead. The signal's gone, and Val Cooper's with them as well. Still, if she's Mystique, it's gonna wait till next season.
Man, she's not Mystique. Get out of here. Get right out of town.
Well, why is that so absurd? You're like, oh, well, there'll be this guy from this thing from this comic.
Because Val Cooper is already a character, and for me, for her to be Mystique, it adds nothing. I'd rather it just be Val Cooper and her and Forge go form X Factor.
But then why does she care about Rogue being with Magneto? Why did she care?
Because it was an X-Men, it was an X-Men joining with Magneto in that moment. That was her whole thing.
She was part of Operation Zero Tolerance from the beginning, or at least enough of it to be around, so she knew what was coming, or parts of what was coming. So
she turned on them. She changed her mind.
No, that's dumb. I don't know. I feel there's more to it. She also really seemed
Mystique.
She also seemed to really care about Magneto and all this other stuff that
But other than that, what's the point of it being Mystique? Other than she was wondering about the relationship between Rogue and Magneto, and you don't what's the point of it being Mystique?
What's the point of it being Mystique?
Yeah,
because it'll tie into something else. She's working for Apocalypse or something else. That's a bigger plan. That was my theory, was because she's working for Apocalypse before.
I don't know.
So,
there's just
and it
so
could
much
be
going on around Val already. It just
that might be why they didn't reveal that this season. But we'll see. There's still hope. I still got hope for it. So anyway, we see Forge is listening to the radio about how extremists in Santa Marco are talking about the second coming of Magneto. They're almost making him out to be like a religious figure.
And Hanif was on your side, but after the Magneto was right, he's convinced she's Val.
Yeah, and she probably is. But it was a nice thought for a while. So then we see Forge going through the notes of all the presumed dead people on the wall. We do see some fun references to some.
I got that, I think.
Yeah.
That's a cool image. Yeah, so we've got, who we got here? We got
You can see
Scarlet Witch is off-world.
Exodus and Shadowcat are still alive. Magic's still alive. Dust is still alive.
Yay, Kitty. Oh, I hope we see Kitty Pryde. And that'd be awesome. Eat Dust. That would be cool. She's still alive. Archangel's presumed dead. Havoc's alive, so we can have the family reunion there.
Archangel's
Iceman's
presumed
still
dead?
kicking. Yeah.
He'll be back. He's probably going to be one of those horsemen.
He could be a horseman, yeah.
Well, he was already.
Exactly.
So then Bishop
Colossus still kicking?
Yeah. He wasn't in this season, really. So
No.
So we see Bishop surprise him. He pulls a gun and says like he's a stranger, and Bishop says, "Oh, we're actually friends. You just don't know it yet." He says his name's Lucas
But look at
Bishop.
that. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are off-world.
I like how Cable is AWOL. Who would have
Does that
given
mean
him
the Avengers are off-world? And they're off-world with the Avengers?
But maybe, but we know Iron Man and Captain America are still on Earth.
That's true.
So I love how Cable says AWOL, which stands for away without leave. Like who would give him
Absent
leave?
without leave.
Who would give him leave? He's not.
Forge. Future Forge.
All right. But Future Forge didn't work with Cable. He worked with Bishop.
That's true. Ascani.
So then Bishop says that the X-Men aren't dead. He says that we are going to be friends. You just don't know yet. In the future he is. And he says that the X-Men aren't dead, that they're lost in time, and they need the two of them need to work together to find them. And so he's like, someone sent our friends through time, and now we got to go rescue them.
Yep.
So then we see where in time they're lost. We see a group of them, which seem to be, let's see here, we got Rogue, Nightcrawler, Beast. So just Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Beast? I guess Wolverine would have been with them. It's everybody else
Magneto.
on the rest, right? Right, and Magneto, or in the past. I guess
Professor.
Professor. Do we see Professor X there?
Yeah, Beast is carrying him.
Right. But we don't see more for Wolverine.
No, we don't. I think they're still in the present. Like here, just still sitting there.
They're on the asteroid, weren't they?
Yeah, well,
maybe they're
still in the present. It all got split off in different ways.
They could have went to a third option we didn't see yet, so who knows?
That's
but
true.
Anyway, so they're deep in the past in the Egyptian times. And then we see that in the future,
Yeah, Storm, Wolverine. We haven't seen Storm either. Storm, Wolverine, and Morph are missing.
Right, so they could have their own side story somewhere else in time.
Oh, that's a cool team. I want to see those three hanging out doing adventures.
That's true.
Ooh,
they could be the
eventual horseman. No, not Storm. No, Storm is not allowed to be a horseman. No questions.
Those three in Gambit would be interesting horsemen because they were all in the control of
for sure.
Sinister before.
Oh, I don't like this at all.
Oh, come on, it'll be cool. So anyway, we see them in the future. They're lost in the future. In the past, we see the X-Men see this mutant with red eyes fighting off a bunch of enemies that they assist. They introduce themselves to him, and he introduced himself as N-Sabbath-Nur, or N-Sabbath-Nur.
Wait, well, did we skip the people in the future part?
I'm just about to say that, but you said I had that, so I was waiting for you to play the clip.
Do not fear us. What is your name?
My name is N-Sabbath-Nur.
I had the music in because I love those like little video game notes.
On television. No, it's like television. Every time they go to the Middle East, it's always that. Oh, it's always.
It's awesome though.
It's pretty good, yeah. So anyway, then we see that in the future, Jean Grey and Cyclops are approached by like some kind of marauders class of people that are led by Madame Ascani. Is that what she's called?
Mother Ascani,
who's Rachel Summers, I guess, for those who know stuff about comics.
Rachel.
Yep. About the X-Men. And then
actual daughter of Scott and Jean. Not
and
Scott
then we see that with her is Nathan, who is like a teenager, a young teenager, it looks like at this point, or at least like a 10-year-old, 10, 11-year-old.
But they seem to be listening to him already. Like he seems to be like almost the leader.
Well, I have an X point about that. I'm sure you probably do too. But
well,
end of episode. Oh, and then we get a brief credit sequence.
Well, hold on now. One clip here.
You may call me Mother Ascani.
Mother Ascani.
Yep. And then we see through the credits, if you wait a few minutes, we see in the ruins of Genosha, we see you don't see his face, but it's obviously Apocalypse sifting through the rubble. And he pulls out the Queen of Hearts card that's all damaged, which was the one that Gambit always had.
Yeah, Andre immediately sent me a message. He's like, "Damn it, you're right."
And Apocalypse said,
Gambit's got to be a horseman.
100%, because he was the horseman of death. Horseman of death, and Apocalypse even says so much death, and then like the card
so much death.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, it's so good, is it right?
Yeah, end of episode, end of season.
Strife? Who's Strife?
That's what's being my X point. Let's just go to that.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Let's move on to that. Well, let's go to X ratings first, right? Or do we do X points first?
No, I go X rating. That's fine.
Let me see. I have it here. We go.
Do you?
Ratings first. Yes, we do. All right, let's do it.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
Each of us will. Mm-hmm. Sound out in the comments. What do you give this episode, X-Goons? Oh, Andre, what do I give this episode?
A 10.
I do.
I know you do.
It was amazing. It was an amazing episode.
It's a fantastic episode.
I could find no faults with it other than the space thing and how they were breathing. But I got to go back and watch that closely. There could be some detail there. I got to go back and watch that more closely. But there's a few times I'm watching.
I don't know if there was, but it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like
maybe they're still on the blue area at that point. Maybe they're still in a gene bubble. I got to go look closely.
But when they were fighting in space and Rogue was kind of saved by Sunspot, he was in space and he said something to do with his powers allowed him to be in space.
Yeah, I can see Sunspot being able to fly.
So he may have been able to shield Jubilee to bring her back to Earth is all I'm guessing.
Okay, that's a good theory.
That's all, because he was fighting in space, so he can survive there, and I'm guessing because he could hold Jubilee and stuff, and he was like all fiery before, so he must be able to hold on to her. Yeah, I wonder too. Too late. Lucas here to give it next.
And we got a 10 from Jamil. We got a 10 from Hanif. We got a 10 from MZ. Looks like pretty unanimous stuff.
Well, that's unfortunate because I give this episode a 2.
Lucas gives it a 10 as well. Yeah, a 2. You make me sick.
2 times 5 for an X. That's great.
It was a great, and wow, what a second season it set up. Like it's just gonna be craziness. I can't wait. I hope it's this fall and not next fall.
Yeah, well,
this fall seems too soon. Like that they wouldn't have it ready, but next fall seems too long.
But they've already recorded it all.
Yeah, but animation takes a while.
Now the new style of animation, it's a lot faster.
Oh, that's good. It's true. It's not like Reboot. It took them like a year.
Or even like original, like this. This is all computer stuff. So it's hand drawn. I don't know how much hand drawn compared to computer. It's a combination of both. I'm assuming. But
it'd be good to get somebody on to answer that.
I don't know because they said it's animated in the style of Archer, which I don't believe was hand drawn. So,
do you want to answer this question?
Well, it may have. I feel like it just ripped holes through his whole body, so the wiener may have gotten it a little bit. But Wolverine does still heal even without the adamantium, so I'm sure his wiener will heal.
Pain scale pretty high. I'm gonna go 10 on that.
Yeah, probably. It's probably why he's in a coma. He's probably in shock from all the pain. Yeah. All right, let's get to those PEX points before I forget the things I wanted to say.
Jamil says next February. Yeah, next February would be all right, but I'm still here in a fall, either this or next. Well, all right, let's get to some sweet X points, because I got some.
Sweet X points.
Sweet can.
They grabbed her. Sweet can.
Sweet can.
Just thinking about her can.
Sweet can.
Sweet can. So, Mr. Simpson, you bet you touched her cat. Mr. Simpson, your silence will incriminate you further. Mr. Simpson, back. Mr. Simpson, now! Dramatization.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
All right, that's a whole other episode, but it's
All
great.
right. Yeah, I know.
All right.
All right.
My next point.
Who's going first? Go for it.
Theory that the Cable we meet in this world is Strife, because he has no techno-organic virus anywhere.
That's a very strong theory. I didn't look at him close enough to see if he did or not.
Nope.
Interesting. Because I thought, did he not though? I thought he had like some weird bandages or something.
No, he was wearing like a little crown and stuff, but he didn't have anything.
Oh crap! Okay, Strife. There you. Ooh.
And Strife's a clone of Cable, right? That's his deal.
Yeah.
So the clone
But,
wouldn't have the virus
in the comics. Then so they could go a different way with this in the show. They played it fast. Like they wanted you to wonder who was the real one for a while, because Strife kept saying he was the real one. So it's like I'm the real Cable, and Cable's a fake, and you should follow me and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, maybe so. But this one, there's no visible sign of any techno-organic virus on him, so that's why I would assume. That's why I'm guessing it might be Strife. And that might be a big part of the episode work.
It's a good guess. All right, so I'm going to talk about something I was meant to talk about last episode for this exploit, which was Bodemayo suggested watching the TNG episode Cause and Effect. So that's a bit of a Trekkie myself. Let's talk about Cause and Effect. So in Cause and Effect, what happens is the Enterprise is stuck in a time loop. And at the end of each time loop, the Enterprise explodes. Like another.
Oh, yeah, I know that episode. I remember that episode.
Yeah. But each time it keeps happening, so who knows how many times that we don't see. But eventually, because it's happened so many times, they start to get some sort of, not so much memory, but intuition. And like things they feel like deja vu to them. So they start to get suspicious. So if like that's the clue, maybe that's the sort of thing that's going to be happening in season 2, where we're going to be stuck in these time loops that they're going to keep failing, and like they'll keep losing this battle over and over again, but they'll like learn a little bit something from it each time, and eventually or maybe I guess that's what Cable was doing, and that was the reference,
or what Loki does in the entire second season of Loki.
Yeah, true that too. So that's Cause and Effect though. So
interesting.
See how that ties in. Though I mean, that could be a reference to the Cable's 200 times of trying to stop him. But
yeah, that could be. That actually probably would be a reference to that, which is cool.
Yeah. So, Cause and Effect. Go watch it. Good episode.
All right, my second next point: the Magneto Protocol dossier. If you quickly glanced at it, they had a list of alter egos for Eric Lyncher, or alter aliases. They include Ian M. As being Ian McKellen. They also have Michael F. for Fassbender, and David Hemblem's full name is listed as one of his aliases, which is nice. Awesome. It's a nice little nod.
I thought so too.
To the history of the character.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Fraser was stuck in that loop for 80 to 90 years in that TNG episode. And that's another... Well, look, thanks, Hanif. This is my next X point. Mother Ascani was voiced by Beverly Crusher. Did you happen to notice that, Andre?
I did not.
Was Gates McFadden voicing.
That is awesome.
Listen to it. I know. Anytime like the worlds of Star Trek and X-Men touch, it makes me super happy.
That's super awesome.
And I know Bo DeMaio is super into both those things, and I want to talk to him about that. I want to talk to Bo about Star Trek and X-Men and where they combine, because I don't think anyone else cares about that but me, really, and apparently Bo DeMaio.
So I hope they get their shit figured out when he comes back. He's
Let's do it.
You may call me Mother Ascani.
Oh, yeah. She sounds kind of... And I thought her voice sounded familiar. You know who I thought of, what it reminded me of, is the computer voice on Star Trek.
Major Barrett? Interesting.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, they're similar. I can see that. That's cool. All right, my next X point. In the beginning, when they show the war zone in the past, we get the song "Turn, Turn, Turn" by the Byrds.
The Byrds,
written by Pete Seeger. Turn, turn. It's in that list of like 5 to 10 songs that are always used when you watch anything to do with Vietnam. So that's why I'm guessing whatever they're involved in has something to do with
war.
Vietnam. That one doesn't usually get used in Vietnam. It's always the Buffalo Springfield, that one.
For what it's worth.
Come together. That
and
one.
Also,
Unfortunate Son by CCR.
Yep.
It ain't me. It ain't me.
Also, the one by Norman Greenbaum.
The Buffalo
Spirit in the Sky. Spirit in the Sky.
Yeah, you get Buffalo Springfield. There's something happening here.
Yeah, that's
That
for
one.
what it's worth.
Yeah, but yeah, these are all very famous songs that are used in movies to show you it's Vietnam. That's why I think they're probably in Vietnam. But yeah, so that's kind of my thought of that. But it's a good song and it's a fun little. Must have cost them a bit of money to use that, but I get that it's sweet Disney money.
Yeah, they got that money. They probably own that song by now.
That'd be amazing if they did.
All right, so that's your X point. All right, so back to me for number 3. That's going to be Cyclops' video game super optic blast that he does in like X-Men Street Fighter and those types of games. X-Men. Yeah, it was so good. He's just like don't mess with my family again or whatever. Just goes, bah! It gets super huge, just like in the game. It's just like, oh my god. He's never done that in the show before. Do that super huge optic blast, and it was amazing. Cyclops is a badass. Put some respect on that name. Back to you.
All right, so that line I mentioned, this is kind of the whole interaction between Bastion and the X-Men, where it kind of hammers home this idea of being programmed to hate.
That's what I was. Thank you, Vinny. Marvel vs. Capcom was the other thing I was trying to spit out there. Anyway,
being programmed to hate instead, and not necessarily, but like it being in there where he says, "Poetic, isn't it? The inevitability of my vision. Even now, Professor X has paved the path to my dream in order to honor his own. A dream as crippled as his dreamer built to die. You mutants lost at birth too. The Neanderthal 2.0, buggy stillborns flapping upstream, draining yourselves dry so that the tide can easily drown you. See me, the future tide. This is despite this little toy you X-Men could use to abort the bond of my creations. Your creations are prisoners held hostage by ignorance and coercive fear." But Bastion says, think had the good professor taken me in when mother begged him, I'd be hanging there here with you freaks in the name of peace, tolerance, and equal opportunity suicide. Even then, fake up my back. And then she says, Charles wanted to help you. He came to your mother, but she was too afraid. You would have been one of the first. And he says, get your... he grabs her by the throat. Forge says something, get your filthy paws off. He said, I didn't ask for this either, to be born with this programming, this destiny inside me, the urges. So that's the whole thing. He says, did you try to appeal to my humanity? Look at me. Yet another reason why Operation Zero Tolerance must skip the final phase. As I told Cooper right before she betrayed me and her kind, people are good, too damn good. Thus, to protect humanity, must protect humanity from itself, from the hearts that start dripping red at the latest token underdog, from seeing themselves as those who could use their same hearts against them. Tolerance is extinction. But even worse is empathy, which is a really, really good line.
I do have that.
And you know what? Yeah.
Thought I did. The empathy line. Huh.
The X-Men are dead. Luckily, this ain't our first time
that's funny, though.
The X-Men are dead rodeo.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at that line, too. Anyway, that's my fourth point.
I thought I had the empathy line. Maybe I didn't load that up. Oh, there it is.
What about Amayo say? Is your next part? Is your next point about the morph thing? I want to know about that.
I can.
Tolerance is extinction. But even worse is empathy.
Which also starts with E. E is for extinction.
So is your X point the entire Bastion speech?
No, I just wanted to bring home how good that was. Like the whole Bastion's whole thing was fantastic.
Really
and also, was. I forgot how much of the Grant Morrison E is for extinction storyline bled into this, including how they found Emma and all that. I totally forgot that was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
How like they found her in her crystallized form and she was shattered and had to put her back together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. Yeah.
So what was the morph?
This is an interesting point from Jameson. The first time, because I was wondering about that too. The first time Forge was called Daniel in any media. Daniel Lone Eagle was Claremont's original name in the character outline, but never used in books otherwise until now. That's amazing.
They never used his real first name ever, or his real name.
I don't remember it ever.
Interesting.
So good.
I like it. Daniel's
Point,
a good
Jameson. Name. All right, it is. All right. Well, so yeah, Bodemayo says that Morph has a crush on Wolverine.
Makes sense.
Romantic interest in Wolverine.
That's cool. Says. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to work out for Morph, but
I mean, it could. He's not binary.
He can turn into a redhead.
You take the form of any woman that Wolverine wants. It seems like the perfect partner.
Yeah, maybe it will work out.
And you can have a beer with him too. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
It's like all the good stuff of having a gay relationship, in the sense that, like, you can have a guy you get beer with, you go to the gym with, you can do all that fun stuff with, and then when it comes to the other side of it, they could be whatever woman you want them to be. Seems like the perfect relationship to me.
All right, we'll see where that goes. All right, so back to you.
Sunspot. He finally gets a name in this. He didn't have a superhero name. He says, Bastion says Robert Acosta, the disowned heir, when he comes to the aid of Rogue. And he says the name of Sunspot definitely has a lot more flair, which is a nice little line. So I like that he's finally accepted his name and his role as a mutant.
Yeah.
And in one of the X-Men. So it's great. Yeah.
Don't be afraid of your powers, especially when they look that awesome.
Great addition of the character. I wonder, and this is not me maligning wokeness or any of that stupid bullshit, because obviously when they approached the show, they wanted to make it appeal to all different audiences and have a diverse cast of characters. So I'm assuming there was a desire to have a Hispanic character in it. I'm guessing that's why Sunspot was chosen. But in doing so, I'm glad they chose him. He's a pretty cool little character, and I like how they did it. I don't know if his backstory in the comic matches what they did in the show so much, because I don't really know much about him. But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm glad he's here.
All right.
It's nice that Jubilee has like a little partner in crime.
And it's closer to having like a New Mutants team. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah, and maybe that'll come about eventually.
Yeah, they did show like a magic old enough.
It'd be nice.
It was just a morph.
It'd be nice to see Cannonball come back too.
Have we? Oh yeah, we did see Cannonball.
He got a whole episode.
Yeah, he did have a whole
with
episode.
terrible animation, but he got a whole.
It wasn't
episode.
great. Yeah, it wasn't great. Let's get a redemption arc for Cannonball.
Yeah. Well, I think and maybe with Cable getting more of a center point in this, an X-Force episode or something, or even spin-off. Like, what if we got an X-Factor spin-off or an X-Force spin-off show?
I almost made that an X-Point. Like, we have Val, we have Forge, we have that list of Forges there. Havoc's still alive. He's still there. Quicksilver's off-world, but he can come back on-world to join that team.
Or X-Factor or
awesome.
X-Force?
X-Factor.
Well, we already got X-Factor. We saw them in the show before.
True, but you said X-Factor, but you meant
I said X-Force or X-Factor. I said both.
Yeah. Oh,
any of those guys getting their own spin-off show, that'd be sweet. Or even Generation X in the proper way. Get a proper version
mutants, of it. Yeah. Let's bring it on. Let's get some spin-offs. Like, this could be the X-Men world. Like, I want to see X-Men live action in the MCU too, but if they just want to like make an X-Men MCU in this form, I'm fine with that.
Oh, I'd be very happy to watch this as much as if they kept doing such great stories, great animation,
spinning
and all that
out.
sort of stuff. Yeah.
Spin it into my next X point. So how many was that for you? 4 or 5?
5. We're in your last
5. So my last one is this, in which Bo DeMaio did comment on. Yes. So if you remember how that series ended.
Yeah, I know. I said that too. I was thinking about that as well.
Yeah. So apparently Peter found Mary Jane.
Time.
Yeah.
Time,
and then Bo DeMaio commented on it. He goes, "Yes, Peter found Mary Jane." So if they ever make the comeback, he's just changed that whole landscape. If they ever did a Spider-Man comeback,
it could take place before all this happened. If they did that in this
true,
timeline.
That's true. There's ways around it.
Because he was. He did.
He was going to find her eventually.
Well, they had a whole Spider-Verse essentially, where him and all the different Spider-Men teamed up to stop another rogue Spider-Man from the parallel universe. And that all started because Madam Web was taking him to find Mary Jane, but the first step was to go help all these other Spider-Men. Well, first was the Secret Wars, and then after that, it was to go help the other Spider-Men battle Spider Carnage, which they did. And then afterwards, she's taking them to go find the real Mary Jane, who was lost in a portal that the Green Goblin had a machine that made portals. She fell into one off a bridge, very much like Gwen Stacy died. But then she came back later, and it turned out she was a clone, a water clone, made for her old boyfriend, Maury Bench, the Hydro Man, by Miles Warren. And also Warren had a little bit of Peter Parker's DNA at the end of that storyline, which was leading into the Clone Saga story, but we never got any of that. But we could.
Questions wants to know if we think they'll do Onslaught. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It seems like they're very much leaning into the 90s X-Men comics, as well as
and Grant Morrison. And some
The best storylines, some of the best X-Men storylines.
And, Claremont stuff with life, death. They're all over the place. It's like they're mining all the stories that are left.
I mean,
because so many were mined in the original series.
But there's so much more because of all the
there's so many more.
All the stuff that's happened since,
yep.
Since the show ended 96,
I want to see the Krakoan era. That's what I want to see.
Well, you're gonna be won't forget that, but yeah, you probably go.
Or the Australian Outback era. Give me that.
I like to see Wolverine and Madripoor. We didn't get any of that. I like to see. I want to see Patch Wolverine fighting Joe Fixit.
I also want to see Patch and Joe Fixit. That's a great idea. Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's get that. Get on that. I'll play Joe Fixit. You can play Apocalypse, and I'll play Joe.
I'd even like to see maybe if it's like a Wolverine gets his groove back episode, him fighting the Hulk and Wendigo in the mountains. We never got that in the show.
Look, as long as Wolverine has a nose for the entirety of this series, that's all that matters.
So was his nose gone, or was it just more animalistic, or flat to his face?
Either way, why?
Because he was more animal. He didn't have
I can pull out some. I'll pull that out next time.
It's because they wanted to make him look more like an animal.
Yeah, but animals have noses.
Yeah, but they're really tight to their faces. They're not pronounced like this. Even monkeys don't have noses like humans do.
Yeah, but how does pulling the adamantium out to mess with his nose? It's just not a good choice.
It was a sponge,
and it wasn't a good look.
Well, a nose isn't bone, so it wouldn't have been covered by adamantium anyway. It's cartilage.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter.
But yeah.
Oh, I don't. I'm not going to explain his lack of nose. He did have little slots there. Yeah, so it was just to make him seem more animalistic. I think that's probably why they did it.
I wasn't big on the art style in that run for a lot of it.
Well, a lot of that art was kind of lazy. No offense to whoever people did it back then, but it's probably because the demand.
They weren't being paid back then. Yeah.
Well, and the demand on getting those comics out too, right? They were 90 X-Men comics, and they came out weekly almost at this point. So people were just gunning. You look at the art of Mark Bagley, who's one of the coolest artists in my opinion in comics, and then you look at his run on Venom Separation Anxiety. Towards the end of that, not Separation Anxiety, Lethal Protector. Towards the end of that series, the art got really bad because he was being under such a deadline pressure. He couldn't really pay his attention to detail he normally did.
Oh yeah,
and it sucks, but that's what happens.
All right, well, let's move on.
So, Davin, if I want to just start, because obviously with all the X-Men we've been doing, I want to and I have that unlimited app so I can read everything. If I just want to start reading X-Men proper, I don't really want to read all the Stan Lee stuff. They'll take forever.
No, I would skip all that and just start with X-Men. What is it, 97 start with giant size X-Men, I guess.
Okay, so when Claremont took over.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured. And then read everything from there up.
If you don't, you will get lost. So much happens in every single Claremont issue that they're hard to skip.
But the thing about this,
you can do storylines.
Well, the thing about this is because there's so many side books. When do I sidetrack to X Factor for a while? When do I?
Most of the Claremont era, there isn't.
Okay.
For a while, it's just X-Men. And then for a while, you'll get New Mutants as well as a side book. And then it's just those two for quite a while. And then I think the third one that comes in is a Wolverine solo book. And then, then the next one is X Factor, because they split off. And it's the original team X Factor. So it's Cyclops, Wolverine, Beast, or not Wolverine, Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, Angel, and Jean.
Because I'd like to read all the I want to read all the Onslaught stuff. I want to get through all that too. And the Age of Apocalypse stuff. I want to do all this stuff. So
I got to go back and read Age of Apocalypse. Well, you know what? We're going to talk about that here.
Maybe we could actually, something we could do while we're in between seasons is read these storylines and then maybe do them by issue or something.
That's a fun idea.
Yeah.
You want to hear that, X-Goons? You want to hear some of those podcasts? Let us know.
Hey, check this out.
Check this out. This is our comic reminiscences and recommendations. You want to go first?
Sure.
Cool.
I don't know if I suggested this one already, and I may have, and stop me if I did, but I don't have a backup if I did. So I was going through, I just kind of grabbed something off the shelf because I was trying to think of something fun to read that I hadn't read. And I thought, let's do this. John Byrne's run on The Thing.
John Byrne did some great Fantastic Four stuff.
Well, this is when The Thing had his own series that John Byrne wrote. That spun off from the John Byrne X-Men run. So it was like I think 12 issues or 20 issues, because there's two of these trades. And this is the first one, but it's there's some beautiful stories, and like if you like John Byrne stuff, which I absolutely do, there's a lot of really great
John
stuff.
Byrne's one of the masters.
And it has one episode, and I want to see it here. There's a whole thing with that's right. It's like a monster storyline where there's like this creature, and how this town treats this thing that's different. That's like a monster, and it's really like it's not the kid isn't innocent, but because he's different, the town treats him poorly, and his mom dies, and it's like really tragic. And they send him off to live with the Morlocks. It's the end of issue, I want to say 4, or sends him off to live with the Inhumans on the moon. And he says, then Lockheed takes him away, this guy, at the end, and he's away. And the sheriff says, "Where's he taking him?" And Ben says, "Home, Sheriff, home to live on the moon with the Inhumans. He won't seem out of place there with all the strange shapes they have, and he won't be lonely." And then there's like this pause, and he says, "There ain't no monsters on the moon." And it's just such a great moment because we are the fucking monsters, and this does it so well. It's such a good book. I mean, John Byrne is a great writer anyway, and all his stuff is
great artist too.
Yeah, but his thing work is crazy good on this.
Yeah. It makes us read everything.
Every X-Men comic ever. Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah.
On it. And the art in this is by Ron Wilson, who's also really, really good. It does actually have a kind of John Byrne-esque style. Man, you know what I miss in comics, and I wonder where he is the Puppet Master. Look at that creepy.
Well, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Look at that creepy fucker.
Oh, I agree, and I feel like that's who they just cast John Malkovich to play.
Oh, that would be good.
Wouldn't it?
That would
John
be
Malkovich is the Puppet Master? That would be phenomenal. Like, I was kind of quite pumped for this Fantastic Four movie coming anyway. But with these casting announcements they've been making recently,
Well, you see who they cast as Galactus, or at least the voice of Galactus?
Yeah, and what a voice he has.
Yeah, he's perfect.
What a voice.
He's a perfect voice, actually. I couldn't think of it. I know Javier Bardem and like Liam Neeson were talked about, but
this one is the one.
I think his is perfect. If you ever watched The Witch, which is a fantastic movie, he's so good. He's so good in that.
And he was in Game of Thrones and stuff.
Yes, which I got to go back and rewatch that show. I didn't watch the last couple seasons, and it's
skip the last one.
Everybody says that, but I got to watch it all. I think I'm going to
watch
the
last episode.
Series.
Really, it's just the last episode is a nightmare. But
I think I'm just going to rewatch the whole series.
And they also cast that guy from Cobra Kai, who I think is probably going to play Mole Man, and I'm super excited about that too, because Puppet Master and Mole Man,
Paul Walter Hauser, Paul Thomas Hauser, Paul Walter Hauser, I think his name is. He's a good actor. He's not. He's from a bunch of stuff before Cobra Kai.
Well, I love Cobra Kai.
He was nominated for like Best Supporting Actor, I think, for I, Tonya. He's really good in that the Tonya Harding movie.
Yeah.
He's so funny in that. Like that.
I think I watched that. Yeah, I did watch that.
He's the guy that organized to get her attacked, and he's such and he acts like he's like this big security wizard guy, and he's just a fucking idiot. That movie is so good at depicting how really dumb those people were and what they tried to do.
Yeah.
But he's also a professional wrestler.
Oh, is he?
I was really hoping Paul Giamatti would be Mole Man. I really like him. But anyway, maybe I want to see him I want to see him in a cool space character at some point.
Make him some weird Shi'ar character.
I really hope that this. I don't want them to be in a parallel universe. I want them to be mixing it up with the rest of the Marvel universe. So I don't know. I mean, I'm really happy about who they cast and what's going to happen. So I'm sure it'll be great. And the girl that plays the Silver Surfer, I don't know, will be cool too. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm surprised they didn't just make her Nova. Like the female Silver Surfer, essentially.
It's not going to be female Silver Surfer. I mean, maybe it will be, and it'll be Shalabal, but it's not going to be like this, gender swapped Nora and Rad. It'll just be a different character. And
you can't say it,
Nora and Rad.
You don't know that.
I'm positive on that.
Okay.
Like it just doesn't make sense when there's already been a female Silver Surfer that they can choose. Like Shalabal, that happened. They can.
Well, it's also by recognition, name recognition too.
True.
Now, most people don't know who Shalabal is.
They don't know who Norrin Rad is either. They know.
Yeah, well, they know what he looks like. I mean, they did have a whole. Yeah, they did. They had a whole movie already with him.
Yeah, but I meant by name.
It's called Rise of the Silver Surfer.
They know Silver Surfer, but they don't know the name Norrin Rad. No one knows the name Norrin Rad.
I do. Norrin Rad.
I do. Yeah, he's awesome. One of my favorite characters.
I think we should make a side trip and watch the fucking Silver Surfer series. It's on Disney Plus. It's
Yeah,
only
well,
13 episodes.
we got a lot of stuff we can do here. We're gonna have to talk about that now. Well, we got to finish the movies first. But
I mean, I guess
we got some time to talk.
Related.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it should be. I don't know. I'm conflicted on where we should go next, but we'll still be here. We'll be doing something. Questions loves the format of our show.
Well, we can just do the same show. Just put like X-rated the Silver Surfer Chronicles and just do that show as a 13-part series. I mean, we got like 2 years till the next thing comes out, or we do another X-Men cartoon, I guess. But
yeah,
I would kind of like to do something a little different.
Yeah,
you should do Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends because Firestar's on it and she's a mutant.
There was a new Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends, for kids because I watched that with my daughter every day. Actually, my daughter, my 3-year-old, is obsessed with Spider-Man. I'm a very proud dad.
Yeah, you're raising her right.
She started watching 3 different Spider-Man shows now. She keeps wanting to go to a different one. She started watching Ultimate Spider-Man. She started watching Spectacular Spider-Man.
Spectacular is probably the best Spider-Man cartoon ever.
I don't know. I'm having trouble getting into it.
You're crazy.
I don't like the animation style.
You're insane. You're a crazy man. Yeah, the animation style isn't as good as the others.
It's like
the story.
Spider-Man mixed with Powerpuff Girls.
No, it's better than that. But the story is really good. The story's fantastic.
Yeah, it could be. I was getting into the story.
If you can get beyond the way the style looks, I think it's
my least favorite animation style.
The best written Spider-Man cartoon for sure.
Maybe we'll cover it. Maybe we'll cover it here on X-Rated, the Spider-Man review show. All right, so where are we off to now here? Oh, I know. This.
You don't like the movie? Change the channel. My remote!
Where's your remote taking us tonight?
Well, I couldn't decide which one to do, so I went with this one. But let me bring you back in time, Davin, to a popular movie franchise. I always try to pick a movie that sort of aged something related to what's going on in the episode. So let me take you back to the 90s. I believe it was the 90s. Early 90s.
I remember it as well as I remember anything.
Let me bring you back to the late 80s, in which another budding franchise that became a very popular franchise for a little while ended their movie by sending their hero back in time through a time portal. Do you remember what movie I'm talking about, Davin?
The movie ended by the hero being sent back in time to a time portal.
Through a time portal.
Are you going to do Masters of the Universe again?
Oh, God, no. I didn't do it the first time, did I? Did I do Masters of the Universe before?
I don't know, maybe.
I would not suggest that movie. I'm talking about Evil Dead 2. And then its
Evil
sequel,
Dead 2.
Army of Darkness.
Oh, I love Army of Darkness.
So I went with Army of Darkness. But Evil Dead 2 does end with him getting sucked through time in a portal and winding up in medieval times. And this is
Evil Dead 2, which is basically a reboot of Evil Dead 1.
Yeah, like half a reboot. Yeah. But so Evil Dead 2, which leads into Army of Darkness, in which Ash is struggling to get back to the future from a primitive past. So it's very relevant
sugar, baby.
Very relevant. You got real ugly, baby. You still love me. You think I was pretty once, but you got real ugly, baby. Movie's so good. When he's supposed to say the words and he messes them up, and then like.
It's like, yeah, basically I said them,
Yeah, I didn't, maybe not every syllable. He's asking every little
very important
syllable.
you say it correctly.
Yeah, so good.
It's like, yeah, I heard your stupid words. I don't care. I got your stupid words. You didn't even try to memorize them.
Army of Darkness, another great story that's about a hero getting lost in time. And a super fun movie.
All right. It is a super fun movie. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do? Well, you know what? Why not? Well, it's been a while.
What were you doing? Playing with matches?
Okay, it's pretty obvious. But go play Marvel vs. Capcom games, X-Men vs. Street Fighter games. They're amazing. They're amazing. Shoot Cyclops' optic beams off that cover the whole screen. It's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. So... yeah, go play those games. They're a lot of fun. I mean, I could don't love a lot of video games that are not on Super Nintendo, but I love those games. Yeah, that's it for me on that. What do you think, Andre? Should we play a game or should we get on out of here?
That's up to you, my friend.
What would we do? Well, we've been talking about it a lot tonight, so maybe we could play some sort of version of this. X-casting. Well, we've been talking about a lot of casts with Puppet Master and all that stuff, so maybe we should try to cast something.
All right.
Now, what should that something be? That's the question.
Well, if you were to say Bastion, I'd just say Theo James because he actually looks like him too. So, like, and he's so good. Just cast him.
That's great. It should just be
he actually looks.
It'd be disappointing if it wasn't.
He looks a lot like him in real life anyway. If you gave him the gray hair or whatever, like he would be fine.
Yeah, that's great.
So you don't even need to do that guy.
No. Well, we'll skip that one then. Well, why don't you cast Apocalypse other than yourself in an MCU?
Dwayne the Rock. I'm kidding. Are you muted? I can't hear you. Hello. I can't hear you, Devin. Okay. You unplugged or something? All right. Who would I cast as Apocalypse? Well, it's gotta be someone with a good voice. Gotta be someone with a hulking. I guess, would he be CGI? I can't hear you still. Okay, Nod, would he be CGI? Apocalypse in your world? Shrug. All right. He's got to be a big actor. He's got to have some gravitas. He's got to have a good voice. Oh, you're back.
Am I back?
Hear you now. Yep.
All right.
And he can't be someone that we've seen in the Marvel Universe before.
If they're casting The Rock, it's because they don't want to do him CGI. Would be my guess on that.
I mean, The Rock's an okay actor, but he's an action star, not an actor.
Yeah. His best role is in Moana. By far.
Yes,
he's great in Moana.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think of someone that has like would I do him? Yeah, Kevin Durant, the guy that played the Blob in Wolverine. He's a really good actor, and he's got a deep voice, and he's a big. And I just saw him in that Abigail.
You're gonna have him play an Egyptian?
Oh no, I guess we do. We should. Should we have someone who's actually like Middle Eastern or African descent?
Probably. That's what they did with the voice. Apparently.
I mean, I thought about Idris Elba, but he's already kind of been in the.
He already is Heimdall, but God, he would have been good as Apocalypse, though.
Actors with deep voices. Somebody like that. I mean, who else would be like that? Michael Clark Duncan would have been all right, I guess, when he was alive. Vin Diesel?
No, not Vin Diesel.
I like his voice. He would have a good voice for it, actually. And he's already been Groot, I suppose. This is a tough one. Because you need someone who's actually a solid actor that has a good voice.
It can be CGI, though, so you just need the voice and the gravitas.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's just the voice... Hey, you do it first, and I'll come back to you because I'm trying to. There's a few people I'm thinking of, and I got to look at them up who they are. Who do you have in mind?
I don't know.
Would he be like? They would put all tingy and stuff on his voice, like they did with Sinister, right? Like he has kind of a hollow metallic voice. Jeremy Irons would be pretty good. Just the voice. It was just the voice.
True.
I like him.
I mean, and if it's just the voice, there's no reason why they can't use this cartoon fella if he does a good job of it.
Peter Weller would be good too, actually. RoboCop.
Peter Weller.
He's got a good.
I would like to see Peter Weller as an X-Men villain, but not Apocalypse. Let's do that. Let's cast Peter Weller. Let's do a reverse casting. All right, Peter Weller in the X-Men universe. Peter Weller. I think it could still be Christopher Britton, but Peter Weller would play a pretty cool Mr. Sinister.
He's a bit too old now.
He is too. Well, I mean, Mr. Sinister's basically CGI character too.
Nah, I don't think. I mean, John Hamm was kind of supposed to be him for a while.
Yeah, I can't see that. But who knows? Who knows?
Well, it's a bit late now, I think. But at one point, I think he would have been all right.
Jamil recommends Ash vs. the Evil Dead. So do I. I enjoy.
So that was a great TV show. It's a fantastic TV show.
There's some gross scenes too, like the butt thing.
The butt thing.
He's like gets a cadaver stuck on his head through the butt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
I'm trying to think of an act. There's some actor I can think of that has a really great voice. That I'm just. It's Keith David has a good voice, but I don't know if he'd be. He's probably too old for it now.
I would like to see
Apocalypse.
Peter Weller as Graydon Creed.
Bit old. He's pretty
played
old
that
now.
kind of character, and he played that kind of character in Star Trek before.
Yeah, I suppose.
He's going to be a bit old for everything that we could think of, really. He could be cool in Spider-Man, like Alistair Smythe or something.
I'm trying, you need someone with a good horror, it's got to be of a horror tinge. I'm still working on Apocalypse, but it's got to be something with, a good horror tinge.
Vincent Price.
He's dead.
Yeah.
You know who actually is kind of whose voice acting work impressed me a little bit, especially in The Boy and the Heron, was Robert Pattinson. He's actually, not a bad, he's actually a cool actor, and his voice work in that is very interesting. Oh, I know who Apocalypse is.
Who?
Dave Bautista.
No, not Dave Bautista.
He would be perfect if it wasn't for the fact that he's Drax already.
He wouldn't. He doesn't have the range or gravitas.
Oh,
for
fuck
that.
you. Okay, have you seen Blade Runner 2049?
No.
Watch that and then tell me he doesn't. Have you seen the cabin knock at the cabin door?
No.
Watch that and tell me he doesn't.
All right, well, we'll give you that one. I was about to say Javier Bardem actually.
Actually, yeah. I would 100% be down for
Since
that.
he didn't get Galactus, I think he would be a crazy, creepy.
I 100% agree. Although, I mean, he's Hispanic, but I 100%.
I know, but
yeah.
Dave Bautista isn't from Egypt either.
No, but and he's Hispanic as well. But and Bautista's already been Drax. So yeah, I 100% agree. I think Bardem would be the perfect choice, actually. Perfect choice. His voice.
He's got the gravitas.
Oh man, yeah, no, you nailed it. That's 100% correct. I can't even come up with something better. That's who it should be.
All right, nailed it. Let's move on.
I mean, Anton Chigurh is one of the most chilling villains in the history, if not the most chilling villain. I think he's more chilling than Hannibal Lecter, and that's saying something.
Yeah, Lecter's good, but there's been more chilling villains than Hannibal.
Oh well, he really represents something entirely beyond human in that movie, which is fantastic.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah,
we nailed it by the end.
We got there. It took a while, but we got there.
It did take a while. All right. Where are we at? Did you hear that?
Nope.
Oh, no. Now I got to relaunch my sound effects because I had to relaunch my other volumes or audio stuff. So how about now?
All I need now is for you to contact your students, Professor.
I got some quick homework, though. Get out and enjoy some fresh air.
Beautiful day. I did a little landscaping yesterday, as Davin mentioned. The reason I did that there is because nothing grows under that tree. I don't know if it's just...
I'll get you some shade plants.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Some bulbs. It'll be beautiful.
Will they grow through that rock, or do I have to build something around it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I guess watch that X-Men retrospective that's coming out tomorrow. About the making of X-Men 97. So watch that because we're going to talk about it and I guess just our thoughts of the season as a whole next week. Do we have a guest for this or is it just us?
For the retrospective?
Yeah.
Just us unless we feel like inviting somebody.
I know next week unless we have a guest, which Davin's working on. If we do, then that'll be it. But still, watch this because it'll be the week after. We'll do a retrospective on the whole series, in which we give it a season rating, I suppose.
Yeah,
I know what Davin says.
7.
And you guys can all debate whether mine will be a 9 or a 10, because that's it's pretty
8
close.
or a 4. It depends on your mood, doesn't it, Andre?
An 8 is still incredibly good, Davin. If your fucking movie's 8 out of 10 on any of the things that like movies are rated on, that's fantastic. But it would be higher than an 8. It'd be a 9 or 10. Probably a 10. It's a 10. It's a 10. It's pretty great.
Pretty freaking great.
Yeah, I mean, like even the 8 that I gave it, that apparently was an affront to God and Davin Skellhorn. I think as a whole, if you rated this series,
you can affront God all you like, but you insulted the X-Men, Andre.
I did not insult the X-Men. I insulted some issues with storytelling that take me away from the narrative, which is not good for a TV show. But oh no, I really, really love the show, so it's very good.
Yeah, we love talking about it. It's been a fun ride. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on this. And yeah, let's look forward to season 2. We'll have a lot to say about that, as details will probably trickle out as well. Hopefully, not too many. Support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show if you feel so inclined. Or you can get some sweet merch and support us that way at Redbubble. There's sweet merch on the Patreon too.
Sweet merch.
Redbubble.com/people/X-Men Review Show /shop. Jeez, tongue twisted myself there. But yeah, some good stuff up there. The Gambit shirts have been going like hotcakes the last couple of days. So, remember it. Get yourself a Gambit shirt. I got mine. I got to get more of our merch, but this is what I got right now, and I'm loving this shirt. Good job.
It looks like it's a decent quality shirt, actually.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I've just been through the wash a couple times now, and it's all like new. So
I don't like that, and this is like, we can talk about this off air, but some of the designs are meant to be on a dark background, and I don't know if you can choose what shirts the design can go on, or if it just naturally puts them on everything.
You can apply the designs we have on there to anything you want.
Yeah, just because some of them look better on dark backgrounds. Whatever. But I mean, that's up to I guess if the user can decide that, it's up to them, so that's fine.
And a couple of things you did like an inverse. So like, for example, for this one's for you, Morph, there's the one that goes good on dark background, but I also loaded up the one that goes good on light background.
Right.
But I mean, you might be able to do that with other things.
Yeah, but some designs don't look as good when you do that, so it's
true.
Depending on
like this one, for example, doesn't look good on white because the pink on white, you don't see it very well.
Yeah.
But it looks awesome on black.
Yeah, I like how that turned out.
Yeah, me too. You can contact us at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com.
Got an email?
Yeah, I mean, not from an ex-goon, I don't think. Like business ones on occasion.
Okay.
But and I talk to the odd guest. Special guests in that way.
Yeah. I was just curious. I don't think you ever brought up that we've got an email to me. So,
well, no, it's like nothing worth talking about. But you can send us emails and I'll talk to them about Andre or about them to Andre.
Like I got all these great articles.
Yeah,
I got these great ads for dick pills. So you hear about these? Enlarge your member.
Swedish made a penis enlarger.
And this Nigerian prince that wants to use our bank accounts to move some money and give us $1 million.
That Nigerian prince should play Apocalypse.
No way, Harvey Burnham's got that locked up.
Yeah, he does. That's a great idea. Or just join us on the live stream. Talk to us here. That's cool too. And you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And please like, review, and subscribe. And we are a member of the United Federation of Podcasts. But Andre, what is going on over at...
Everyone's
the Graphic Histories Podcast.
Everyone's dead. That's what happened over there.
At the Graphic Histories Podcast?
Yeah, it's all gone.
You?
Yeah, I guess it's just me
and me, I guess? We're both dead?
Yes.
Are we podcasting from the afterlife? Where's Beetlejuice? I always wanted to meet that guy.
It's one of those Sixth Sense
steal his
situations.
number in line.
It's one of those Sixth Sense situations.
So which one of us is a ghost and which one of us? Oh wait, we're both dead in the Sixth Sense, right?
No, just Bruce Willis.
And, so not the little boy.
And then the various ghosts that were around.
Yeah.
No, just a conversation dropped Monday with Jen L. Rossman, who is a writer and a very interesting story. Disabled writer, and has quite a kind of a interesting, perspective on life from her unique situation. So it was a great chat. And then we have one coming up with Sarah Meyer after that, who's the artist on the TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures comic. And a very great conversation with them. And then also have Ernie Altbacker after that. And then I just recorded yesterday.
I've heard great things about that interview.
It's a long episode, but it was really. I thought about breaking it into 2 episodes because it's fun when you have these conversations with people because they're like, he's like, "You're gonna edit this, right?" I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Oh, I talked for about and he goes, "I talked about working in a machine shop for like half an hour." I'm like, "Yeah, it's great. I loved it. It was fantastic."
This sounds awesome.
There's a guy they called 8.5, and he thought it was because of the Fellini movie, but it was because he had 8.5 fingers. It's one of my favorite stories. He's like, "Oh yeah, like the Fellini movie," and he's like, "No, because I have 8.5 fingers." He's like all these fucking machinists that don't know who Fellini is. Like it's so good. It's so fucking laugh. It was probably some of the most laughing I've ever. My wife would like hear me in the room. She's like, "That sounded like a fun one." I was like, "Oh my god, I laughed so hard." He's a really funny guy, and we had a great conversation. So.
Oh well.
He's a writer that wrote on a lot of cartoons you'd be familiar with. So.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And he did a lot of those. He wrote a lot of the recent DC animated movies, like the really good ones. So we have a great conversation about like he worked on the Injustice cartoon, and we talk about why, how studio involvement kind of changed that from being something to what it turned out to be. And there's a lot of that sort of stuff in it, and it's interesting chats about like how much studios will allow you to change and what's cool and what's not, and how much the fans kind of give you shit for changing stuff in these stories and these animated versions. And that was neat. It was a very cool talk. It was a great chat with him. So, and then after him would be
James Aquiloni.
Nope, that's tomorrow. I'm recording that. Before him was one I meant to do a long time ago, but got rescheduled a couple times because of both of our schedules. It was it's right here. It's Keith Grakchow.
Oh, nice.
It's after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, great chat with him. And then after that will be that's James Aquiloni is the one after that, I think.
Sweet.
Bob Layton has not answered my messages, so I tried.
Well,
also, Ron,
as my grandmother would say.
Ron Friends, I sent a message to as well because I really like his art, but he didn't answer either. So maybe someday.
I think Ron Friends did answer my message one time.
Really?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
There is hope that Paul Levitz will be a guest in the future. Hopefully so. He told me to get back to him in early July. So he was the writer of a lot of really cool DC comics, most notably the very famous Great Darkness saga from about Darkseid and the Legion of Superheroes. It's a very famous kind of comic. So, very
Lots of fun stuff coming up on the graphic.
Yeah, great chats, great talks, a lot going on.
The best tag team of comics-related podcasts you'll find on the interwebs right here. X-Rated and the Graphic Histories podcast.
We need to get so popular we just do this, Devin. Why can't we get there? Let's get there.
I know, why?
Come on.
It takes enough of my time.
I know, me too. I was thinking about that. It's a good thing it's a labor of love because I really do love it.
It is. No, we have a good time here. And thanks for joining us, X-Goons. We'll catch you X time.
X time.